Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first sensing. This is on Sauvignon Blanc. Excuse me, a little puppy dog who's taken over my seat. That's what happens when you stand up. Anyway, I want to remind everybody what this one's all about. This is sensing number 1, Sauvignon Blanc. And at the end of the introduction, we suggested that everyone get a different bottle of Sauvignon Blanc from a different region. California, France, New Zealand. So if you haven't had a chance to do that yet and you want to, and maybe invite your friends over to sense the wine with you, you can pause right now, go do that, and then pick up this video later. But we're going to go ahead. We're excited about this. Again, the strategy for this entire course is to really learn the different key grapes. The way to do that is to focus on one grape at a time, one grape from 3 different regions. And then you're going to use all your senses to really evaluate that wine and enjoy it. Your sight, your nose, your taste, the feel in your mouth. You're going to learn how to describe each dimension in standard wine terminology. So when you walk away from each one of these sensings, you're really going to know the grape. You're probably going to be able to identify it by region, because wine regions and cool regions are very different. And you'll develop your skill in assessing and describing what your senses are detecting. And you're going to have fun with wine. White wines generally fall into this spectrum of colors, from colorless practically to a rich deep gold. And the rich deep golds are generally those white wines that are much older. But the Sauvignon Blanc is probably going to be those areas that are highlighted here. Very light straw, straw green, fresh straw, and the aroma from the fruit will go from fruity to perhaps herbaceous and vegetative. The bouquets will probably be pretty clean and fresh. And in the mouth, you'll detect also probably a lot of acidity. That's just the Sauvignon Blanc in general. The other thing, when you categorize white wines by, I'll say, the body primarily, a Sauvignon Blanc falls into like a medium body, tangy or steely medium body. Generally, they're oak-free. Some from France can be more steely or mineral-y, and they have food-friendly acidity. So we're going to start with the French one. And it's a cooler climate. Their label reading is different. They will not put the name of the grape on the label. That makes it a little tougher when you want to go buy one, because they're terroir driven. What they mean by that is they really believe what's more important than the name of the grape is where it comes from. Its microclimate, which is comprised of soil, climate, altitude, winemaking tradition, as required by the Appellation d'Origine Contrôlée. That's their governing body. And it's very strict. And it's one of the reasons their quality is so consistent for so many years. The Loire Valley is the home of some of the French Sauvignon Blancs, known as Sancerre and Puy-Fumé. And they're also really known for goat cheese in that region. They have in the May timeframe, they have a really neat goat cheese festival in the Caves, and they really celebrate their Sancerre Sauvignon Blanc. The Bordeaux Blanc is complex. Perfume, citrus, lemon, and a little bit of mineral in some cases. It used to be very grassy, and I think it's changed over years. They can blend it also in Bordeaux with Semillon, which gives it a much bigger body. But it's lower in alcohol than some of the other Sauvignon Blancs because it's a cooler climate. Food pairing, anything lemony, like piccata, Meunier sauce, asparagus. But we're going to try the first one, and let me show you the bottle so you know what it is we're tasting. And I've got to introduce my friend Ava.
Hi, Marilyn.
She really loves Sauvignon Blancs, and we had an opportunity to taste some really nice French ones when a group of us went to France last year. But what we have here is a Chateau Coucheroy, and it is a 2017 Pessac-Léon. And if it's from Pessac-Léon, you should know if it's white, it's a white Bordeaux. But they really think that is the terroir that makes it unique. But first, what we're going to talk about is what about the color of this against a white tablecloth. We find that's about the easiest way to really be able to detect what that color is and see how it moves in the glass. Those are the things we try to do: clarity, color, and how does this wine move in the glass? So you think that's a pale straw?
I do. I would describe that as a light straw.
A little bit of green, maybe?
A hint of green, yes.
Okay. So we've got pale straw with a tinge of green. And what do you think about the body as it moves in the glass? Getting any legs on it, any residue on the side, showing a lot of alcohol? I'm not getting too much.
To me, this is thin.
It's kind of a thinner in the glass.
It is.
Okay. How's the aroma?
Very pleasant, and it fills the glass.
It's a pleasing aroma. Okay, so we find that very pleasant. Now, I don't expect you all to be able to copy what we're doing or see everything that I'm writing here. Also, I write horribly. But what we're going to do at the end, when we get this filled out, is we're going to throw this onto an Excel spreadsheet and finish this sensing, showing you that Excel spreadsheet. So you should be able to see what we came up with, compare it with what you all came up with. But they're not going to be the same. Number one, this isn't really an exact science when we get done, as you will find out. And two, you probably have different wines than we do, or different years than we do, or probably a different palate than we have. And if that's the case, and you have different opinions, my guess is some of your results will be quite different. But the key thing we're trying to walk away with is real knowledge of the grape, and maybe subtle differences from region to region, that then you'll know what grapes you like, what the regional differences are, and how to really evaluate the wines and articulate them. So that's why we're not too worried about you seeing everything I write down here, because your results are going to be quite different. So you thought that the bouquet was very pleasing. It's perfumey. I get pleasing. You get any lemon, any grapefruit?
Grapefruit for sure.
Okay. And is it strong or medium?
The aroma is fills the glass. I mean,
Okay,
I think it's strong.
It's a positive?
Yes.
All right. And now, how do you think it's going to taste?
I think it's going to taste very light and lemony.
Ooh. Would you say delicious?
Delicious.
And what's the body? The medium? Does it have a long finish?
I can still taste it in my mouth. So I think it might be described as long. And I would say that the body is medium.
Okay. And you're still getting any fruit in the mouth?
Definitely grapefruit.
You're still getting grapefruit there?
I am.
Wow. Thing that I find in Sauvignon Blancs is most of them are tart. Is this tart?
I would just use that as to describe
dryness,
it.
you consider it dry?
Very dry.
And you consider it crisp?
Crisp.
How about coverage of the tongue, either length or width with that finish?
This, to me, this covered my full tongue all the way to the back of my throat.
Okay. And that's pleasing?
Yes.
I'm going to be scoring these a little bit as we go along.
And I can see how that would be really delicious with goat cheese.
Aha, you should take a hunk.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Delicious.
But it's really a riot to go to that goat cheese festival. You go to the back of the calf, and they have these croquants, round things of goat cheese. And as you're talking, there's this frost coming out. And they have the French bread and everything. It's really, really a fun deal.
That would be delicious.
So this would go great with goat cheese. What about fish?
For sure. Yes.
Is it well balanced?
Yes, I think so.
So it is well balanced, meaning the aroma and in the mouth, nothing's way out of whack. It's driving it the wrong direction. Cool. I agree, but then I'm a bit of a French wine nut. Okay. Now what about the second one in terms of color compared to the first one? I'm going to bring up the slide that shows a little bit of the details about our second wine. It's California. It's a warm climate. The label is going to tell you what the grape is. In the United States, you have to put on the label the volume, percent alcohol, the appellation, and the grape. And in the United States also, 75% of the grape must be the named grape. You can put anything else in it for the other 25%. The key focal points, of course, are Sonoma and Napa, and Washington State makes some good ones also. But California has long, hot summers, cooled off with the bodies of water, but it's a light to medium bodied, a little bit bigger body with more alcohol because of the warmer climate. You're going to find more fruit forward, all those different fruits. And you may get some oak. Somebody like Mondavi used to make a Fumé Blanc that was very unusual and was aged in oak. But in most part, the United States, that doesn't happen. And the United States, California Sauvignon Blanc goes well with cheese, vegetable soups, delicate fish. So let me stop showing that and show you our California wine. It is a Saint Superi. It's kind of on the high end, price-wise. I had this a few years ago. It's a 2018 from Napa Valley. And how does it move in the glass?
I think it appears to be a little heavier.
Is it a similar color to the first one, or is it a little darker color?
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's more of a straw.
For sure, straw.
A little darker straw?
Yes.
Okay. And you said it moved in the glass. Is it leaving any legs? Does it look a little thicker?
It does to me. It looks a little heavier.
Because it should show some signs it's a little more alcohol, but it looks like a little bigger. Put a question mark on that. Okay, and how's the bouquet? The aroma?
It's very nice. Not as heavy as the first one. for aroma.
Okay.
Like a short aroma.
And are you getting any fruit in it?
Lemony for sure.
Lemon?
And maybe some crispy green apple.
What are you guys getting in your California wine? They get some very different fruits than we do. But it's highly possible you'll get some lemon or grapefruit. Warmer climate, maybe more peach apricot. So what do you think it's going to taste like?
I think it's going to be lemony for sure.
Think it's going to be big in the mouth, long finish. Feels a little bigger in the overall mouth.
Yes.
But I'm not sure the finish lasts for long on the tongue.
No, it's gone already. So it's very short.
But you're feeling it kind of on the sides of your tongue?
Yes. The front and the sides, but not the back.
But it's kind of a short finish.
Yes.
And again, we said all these are, well, do you agree that tart, dry, crisp? This one maybe not as crisp as the first, but still tart and dry?
Still tart and dry. Yes.
Okay. And you'd say medium body?
Medium.
This is one that keeps reminding me of dry lemon candy. You know those ones you should get with kind of sugar around it?
Yes.
I don't think I've seen one in a million years, but it reminds me of it. Maybe a little bit of green apple. Did you get any green apple in that?
Green apple.
You did?
I did.
I'll call it dry lemon candy. Whoa. What do you think that would pair well with?
Fish and chicken and cheese.
You think it's well balanced?
I do.
Okay, I'm checking that. Okay, now we want to take a look at what we can expect from New Zealand. But there are a lot of people out there that may never have had a wine from New Zealand before. New Zealand is considered New World, so they use the New World labeling like the United States. The grape will be named on the label. It is now the southernmost wine region in the world. The key home for the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc is Marlborough. You'll see that on a whole lot of the wine bottles, and they're very reasonably priced. You shouldn't have much trouble getting one of these. It set the industry on its ear when it introduced this wine. My instructor in Charlotte of my wine certification program ran a restaurant. She said at the end of the evening, they'd all sit back and have a cold beer. And when this came on the market, they went, whoa, what a great way to end the evening with the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. They've got an abundance of sunshine, a long growing season, and they produce fresh, zingy wines, renowned for notes of grapefruit, grass, actually, yes, cat pee, but there's a lot of Sauvignon Blancs that are known for that, actually. Tropical, citrus, pungent, lower alcohol. They've got all of their vines covered with nets because the birds attack them like crazy. So that's a big issue that they have. Similar rainfall to Loire Valley. And food pairing, they say artichokes, avocados, and crab cakes. But let me show you that bottle. Because this one, you're going to see so many places. You're going to see it on wine lists. Kim Crawford is very popular. I think I first tried this about 2008, and they make a red also. But it's a 2019 Marlboro Sauvignon Blanc. That's all you need to know. But there's so many others out there, and they're very reasonably priced. So what do you think of the color of this one compared to the other two? We say it's almost identical to the last one.
Exactly. It is identical to the last one.
Okay.
So it's a light straw.
Darker straw, pale gold.
Pale gold.
And how does it move in the glass? Does it move like it's thin? Does it move like it's a big body? By the way, folks, we're using Riedel glasses. We talked about them in the introduction, and they really help bring out the best of each grape, because this glass is made for a Sauvignon Blanc. It'll put it on your tongue, the most perfect place for the Sauvignon Blanc grape. So the aroma, I'm getting
Wow.
a fruit that I have for breakfast a lot.
Is this a grapefruit?
I'm gonna put exclamation point. Grapefruit.
Definitely worthy of that.
And we can say the bouquet is kind of zingy. Because we had that adjective on one of our slides. Because boom, you get it. And we're in a very hot, humid climate. So some of these wines like this are really good, ice cold in the summer. What do you think of it? What do you think it's going to taste like in the mouth? It's going to be big body? Think it's going to be lamb, short-lived, no finish? What do you think? What do you think?
I think it's going to be short.
Oh. It kind of was.
It is.
Wow. And we're still getting grapefruit in the mouth?
Grapefruit in the mouth. And definitely zingy.
We can still say it kind of follows the Sauvignon Blanc tradition of dry, crisp, and tart.
Yes.
So if you're looking for a wine that's like that, get a Sauvignon Blanc.
And I could see how this would be good with green vegetables, you know, with asparagus and avocado and summer things.
Like a medium body?
Medium for me.
Do you think it's well balanced? Or do you think the bouquet is too much compared to the mouth?
I do think it's well balanced.
Think it's well balanced?
I do.
You give it that? Do you think one thing that's occurring to me, going from the aroma to the mouth and evaluating it overall, and I don't know, maybe a little too powerful, too ban?
Yes, it would not be my first choice if I had
Okay.
to choose between the three.
And that would be why?
It's almost too zingy. It's very
It's pronounced.
pronounced.
Pungent?
Yes.
Zingy pungent.
Zingy pungent.
So now you can go back and recheck number 1 and 2, but which one is your favorite and why?
I like the flavor of number 1. The crispness, and I think it would be the easiest to pair with food and cheese.
Very good. So that'd be your number 1. What would be your second?
The California.
New Zealand,
And then New Zealand, number
because it was a
3.
little too much. Powerful and a short finish. And again, even in the mouth, we found a little too powerful. So, given that no wine that I can afford is going to get a 20, so these things are probably going to be in a different range. This was number 1, and it had a lot of great attributes that were the aroma, the grapefruit flavor, crisp and full coverage. We might give that like a 19.
I think so.
It's number 1, and we give it like a 19. And then the only minuses, we're really talking about California, it did have a short finish, and it had a short aroma. So it might give that like an 18.
I agree.
And then our third, New Zealand. Hey, if it's a really hot, humid day, you need something pungent to revive you. You've been waiting tables all day. You may need something that powerful. But in terms of our comparative analysis, you might end up with like a 17.
17.
That works for you?
Yes.
So what do you think about these wines overall?
I could see how these would be considered in the area where we live, summer wines that would be, delicious for a picnic or to eat outside, in the afternoon out on your deck. Definitely keep them icy cold and crisp.
Because we need it. We have such coming in. I'm not sure I've introduced this little one who's keeping my seat warm back here. But everybody, this is Heidi. And fortunately, she's not into wine yet. And she has her no bark collar on. Just be thankful for that. But before we leave, we hope you all enjoyed this as much as we did. But just relax, and there's nothing really uptight about it. It's just enjoy all your senses coming together to bear on a glass of wine. But we just want to remind you, that our next tasting, I lost that slide, is going to be Pinot Noir. It's a sensing we're going to be doing, and we're just suggesting if you want to read up on it before then, fine. But please get a bottle from each of the 3 regions. We really highly suggest Oregon. The Willamette area is becoming very famous in putting the United States on the global Pinot Noir map. Arath from 14 to 19, Fire Stage from 12. France, these are kind of bottom of the line French Burgundies, because the French Burgundies get very pricey as you move up and up. So to keep them competitive here price-wise, we suggest a Jadot or Bouchard. New Zealand, Kim Crawford again makes a New Zealand Pinot Noir, and New Zealand's becoming famous for their Pinot Noirs, or Oyster Bay or Jules Taylor. Anyway, we hope you'll join us for the next one, and we really hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks so much for sharing with us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, we just had a really fun tasting with Ava, sensing the Sauvignon Blanc. And I'm going to go over this pretty quickly because you sat through the whole thing. I'll just go through the high points and the low points. We thought all of them were tart, dry, and crisp. There was a hint of grapefruit across the board. But in terms of positives, the French one took on a little bit more of an elegant, smooth, and particularly when it opened up a little bit more. We had it open a little bit longer. So it got a lot of consideration for its long finish in the mouth. And it had a big nose, grapefruit lemon crisp. And it was appealing. That's really a key factor when you're going through this. The California was a little bit paler, and it had a shorter finish. We wanted it to last a little bit longer. We're begging it to last a little bit longer. It also had a medium body, and it was fairly balanced. The New Zealand, whoa, it had a very pronounced bouquet, very strong in the mouth with grapefruit. And that is so typical of New Zealand ones. They're very refreshing, but they're kind of a shock when you're tasting the more delicate ones. But in a certain situation, they can be just outstanding and the perfect thing that you want. So that's how we ended up rating them, pretty much 18.5, 18, 17. And hope you had fun with that. Thanks so much for joining us. And remember, there are going to be a few more of these. We're doing Pinot Noir next, then we're going to do Chardonnay, then we're going to do Cabernet Sauvignon, and we just decided to add Nebbiolo. So we're just going to be staying inside Italy to do that one. Hope you can join us. Thanks so much. Bye-bye now.